Welcome to Prose Parley, the talk show where we share your inspiring journeys and endless stories of authors from all walks of life. I'm your host, Shanu Shah, and each week we sit down with writers to explore their personal professional lives, uncovering the challenges, fears, and desires that shape their literary works. Before we introduce our guest today, I want to share some insights on how to make world building in your fantasy books truly captivating. One of the best example we can learn from is George R.R. Martin, his book A Song of Ice and Fire. I'm currently reading it, and when I read, I actually study the material very frankly, and that's how I came up with this particular steps. Now, Martin's world building is immersive because he draws from real world locations and cultures, giving his setting a familiar yet fantastical feel. To understand this better, let's break down some key elements. The first, taking inspiration from real life. For instance, Winterfell and North and Martin's world are reminiscent of Scotland, North England, or even some parts of Canada. Their cold, rugged climate and stark motto, winter is coming, evoke the relentless hardness of these regions. Relentless harshness of these regions, I'm sorry. The second one, creating unique cultures with real world parallels. The Dothraki, for example, are inspired by nomadic tribes like Mongols, but with elements that hint at the Rajput warrior culture of India. And I'm proud of that because I'm in India. Their vast plains, known as Dothraki Sea, resembles the steppes of Central Asia and the expansive grasslands. Next is about historical influence. The Lannisters and Casterly Rock draw parallels to medieval European nobility like those of Plantagenets or Tudoros. Casterly Rock's grandeur is similar to British castles, adding authenticity and depth. The fourth one is we must not forget about the political and cultural hubs. King's Landing, with its Mediterranean vibe, feels like historical Constantinople or bustling medieval cities. Its warm climates, markets, and political intrigue create a vibrant setting. The fifth is incorporating distinctive culturally rich locations. The Iron Islands via mirror Viking culture with their seafaring lifestyle and raiding traditions. Karth, on the other hand, reflects the exotic wealthy cities along the Silk Road, adding mystery and allure. Lastly, give your world unique yet relatable cities. For example, Bravos. With its canals and merchant fleet, it's inspired from Venice during the Middle Ages and Renaissance. Its banking prowess and unique geography make it stand out. Now, the easiest way you can create a fantasy world that feels both fantastical and familiar is by blending real world inspirations with imaginative elements. George R. Martin is a masterclass in world building that makes his work so immersive and engaging. And that's why I really loved reading it. And that's why I'm sharing this a little bit of case study on how he built his world. Now, let's welcome our guest. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Ms. Dr. Rohit Bhatia. Today, we have the pleasure of hosting Dr. Ravi Bhatia, a distinguished pediatrician and a passionate quiz enthusiast. An alumnus of prestigious Armed Forces Medical College, Pune, Dr. Bhatia combines his medical expertise with a love of quizzing, creating educational and fun quiz books for young readers. Dr. Bhatia's books, Let's Quiz Kid Volume 1 and Volume 2 aim to spark curiosity and a love for learning both India among children, for learning about India among children. His unique approach stems from his interaction with young patients, where he realizes a gap in their knowledge about their own country. That's really embarrassing, but we should work on it. Through his books, he hopes to fill this gap and inspire the next generation. Beyond his professional achievement, Dr. Bhatia is a dedicated family man and an inspiring figure in both medical and literary communities. Join us as we explore his journey, his writing techniques, and the stories behind his works. Please welcome Dr. Ravi Bhatia. So, welcome to Prose Parley, and I'm Dr. Ravi Bhatia. I'm honored to have you on my show.
Good afternoon. It's my pleasure to be on your show.
Thank you very much. So, I just want to understand that because you are a doctor, you are also having a lot of work. So, what inspired you to write the quiz book specifically for young readers?
See, I'm a pediatrician by profession,
Mm-hmm.
and I've done my MBBS from the Armed Forces Medical College, Pune, and then my post graduation from Jodhpur.
Mm-hmm.
And day to day, I keep on interacting with kids, and many times, I keep on asking them whether they read, whether they know this, whether they don't know this. So,
Mm-hmm.
what I have found is over the years that our kids are not aware about the Indian history, Indian geography, and India as a whole. And
Right.
since quizzing is my passion and I'm a quizzer at heart,
Mm.
so this inspired me to write the books. And
Oh,
another thing is I keep on, always rattling off these facts to my family members also. So over
mhm.
a cup of tea, my wife told me one day that why don't you put it down in the form of a book?
Yeah.
And thus the idea of writing a quiz book was born.
Okay. That's really good to know. So when we are quizzing, there are many topics to cover. So how did you choose the topics for your questions?
I see no quiz book can be complete. It's very difficult. I mean, there is so much to remember. Or any
Yeah.
person who considers himself knowledgeable is, I think, talking like a fool because there is so much we don't know.
Yeah, right.
And what I tried to do was I tried to justify it by covering Indian geography, Indian history, Indian sports, Indian literature, music, culture. But
Mm.
still, um, uh, I would like to put it on record that no quiz book is complete because
Mm.
there's so much to know, so much to learn. It's next to impossible to have a complete quiz book.
I understand it. But what process did you do that? Okay, I'll be going with this particular topic. Like I will take cover history and geography, and maybe
Yeah,
I'll.
what I did was I made a list of topics and then I framed questions accordingly. And
Oh,
my questions were like this. My questions were not that questions are not going to change with a period of time. Let's
mm,
say, for example, if I ask you who is the highest scorer, run scorer in ODIs, so right now it is Sachin Tendulkar, but
yeah.
his record might be broken someday. So
Mm.
what I did was in my quiz books, what I have done is I have framed questions accordingly which are going to stand the test of time and they are not statistics oriented questions.
Okay, okay. Something so basically something which have people have created history. So something like those, right? Like,
Yeah, more or less it's all of them have got some trivial facts attached to them.
hmm, right. So what was
let's
the
say for example
yeah,
let's
please.
say for example which is the only active volcano in India, that is Byron Island in Andaman Nicobar. This is not going to change, right? 5 years later also it is going to remain the same.
Exactly, right. True, that's true. And what was the writing process? Do you follow any particular routine or a method for creating?
No, I don't follow. No, I don't follow any routine. I am quite addicted to mobile. So whenever I keep on reading,
Huh?
I have a notebook and I note down an interesting fact and try and frame a question on it.
Okay, yeah. That's how so that is how you have compiled all those questions together
Yeah,
in form of book. I think there are 500 questions in each book, right?
yeah.
Okay.
500 questions which have been divided into sets of 10 each, and there
Ye-
are 50 quizzes in volume 1 and 50 in volume 2. Both the volumes are not related to each other. I mean, they've got different questions.
Yes. Okay. So all the topics are also a bit different, right? From one to another.
Yeah.
Hmm. And how do you ensure the accuracy and educational value of the questions in your quiz book?
See, accuracy, of course, you will have to verify it from two or three sources.
Hmm.
But unfortunately, I would admit that in my first book, there were three errors,
Mm-hmm.
even after proofreading, and three uh, errors creeped in inadvertently. So that is not there in the second book. It's you have to read from various sources and then you have to frame a question and answer.
So you made sure that the whatever quiz questions are there and whatever answers you have given at the end are accurate, at least in the second
Yeah,
book.
yeah, sure, yeah,
So that and because accuracy is very much important nowadays. So
yeah. It's very important.
yeah. And do you face any challenges while writing the quiz book?
No, I didn't face any challenge while writing the quiz book. I just needed a laptop, type the script over MS Word. The
Mm-hmm.
biggest challenge, I have faced is after writing two quiz books is how
Hmm.
to sell those books. That
Hmm.
is the biggest challenge. I mean, writing is not a challenge, but to sell even a single copy is a big challenge.
Exactly. That's the saga of every author. They follow. They face the same issue that writing is easy, but selling is very difficult.
It's very difficult.
Yeah, and that is also one of the reason why I started this Prose Parley show so that I can help some authors, to sell. And I also am going to plan to run ads and everything for the YouTube channel. So the authors will get more and more exposure going forward.
Yeah, yeah, that's a very, very good thing on your part that you have started it. It's very difficult to sell a book because people don't want to read, and they'll spend money on pizza, going out, eating out. I have no problems with that, but at least for books, they must, and books have become cheaper. They're not that expensive also.
Exactly right. Yeah. So how do you balance your profession, because you are a pediatrician by profession, so you also have a lot of things going on as a doctor.
Yeah, I'm a pediatrician. My hands are full, but still, if you have a passion, you always take time out for it.
That's really nice. So do you have any time management tips for aspiring authors? Because many of us are full-time employees somewhere, and then we also want to write. So
So
how?
my only tip is that you write whenever you think you are free,
Yeah.
and whenever you are, the mind is muddled
Hmm.
with negative ideas, and you at that time one should write, because writing gives you great pleasure. It will give you a sense of good being, a sense of well-being, and all negative thoughts will go out of the brain. So that is my logic. And frankly speaking, for me, I have luckily my time management has been good, so it has not compromised with my profession. And whenever I get time, my black notebook I note down the question, and whenever I have time, I keep on compiling them.
Yeah, that's right. So you have one dedicated notebook for the quiz, I guess. Is it so?
Yeah, I have one dedicated notebook.
Okay. So I got both your books, and my kids actually have really enjoyed volume one because they are very small. So they were
Yeah,
able to enjoy them. And I believe when they grow up, they will also enjoy the quizzing each other with the volume two. So I have made a
yeah.
video with them. I hope you have watched it.
Even the 2 years back. I'm the one who covered. What that? What that? Yes. Oh. Uh-huh. According to Mahabharata,
Yeah,
And you find it interesting?
yeah, I found it interesting, and I can understand that since the kids are little, small, they might find some questions tough. But over a period of years, when they start reading, the purpose is not, see, nobody. The purpose is not to test my knowledge. My purpose is that, supposing I have framed a question
Hmm.
and the answer is there in the book, the
Hmm.
child should look up to that answer and try to find out more information related to that answer. Then my purpose is fulfilled.
Yes. That's true. And actually, it's a game now, to quiz each other and to find out what
Yeah,
the other person knows, who is
see, by
more
if
intelligent. So they
if
have found out that kind of a game, and they actually have asked a lot of questions to each other. So
then
yes,
my purpose is served. Then
yes,
my purpose is served. If the kids are able to come out of mobile, come out of the screen, come out of laptop and read books, my the purpose is served.
yeah. No, my kids read every single day. I'm an author, so and I'm also an avid reader. I have a library at home, so of course they read every single day. It's like
That
compulsory.
is a very good habit. Very good habit.
So yeah, that's
And full marks to the mother for inculcating such habit.
thank you very much. So, how do you think quizzing can benefit children in their overall development and learning?
See, the best thing is to become a good quizzer. You need to be an avid reader. Once you start reading, your overall development, overall personality automatically, it blossoms. So
Yeah.
you read more and more, you can get more and more information. So I think in that way, quizzing can be a good hobby. It's a
Hmm.
very addictive hobby, to be very frank,
Yeah.
and it involves lots and lots of reading. And overnight, you cannot become a good quizzer. You
Yeah.
have to read over a period of years. Of course, you start getting into that groove.
So when you sell some books, you must have sold some books. So do you remember any experience? Or do you want to share some experience or feedback from the reader?
See, my actually the one drawback with publishing with Notion Press is that they make books available only online.
Hmm. Okay.
So
Uh-huh.
they're not books are not available on the bookstores, and every bookstore is nowadays charging money from the authors to keep the book at their bookstore. So that
Yes.
is a that is a big drawback.
Hmm.
Actually, very frankly speaking, I've had very few interactions, but some people have written reviews of the book on Amazon.
Yeah.
Majority of the reviews have been good, but
Yeah.
2 or 3 reviews have been quite negative. And
Hmm.
when I first read that negative review, my heart was jilted, because I thought that I put in a lot of effort and still somebody wrote that review. But after you know reading the review again with a cool thought, I thought, yes, of course, when you write a book, you cannot satisfy everyone.
Hmm.
Somebody is going to find out, somebody is going to find that the book is not up to the mark, somebody might find that the book is up to the mark. So that's all. I mean, for that matter, if you have a book which has got only good reviews in it, that means I think that something is wrong somewhere,
Yeah.
because every creation, for that matter, will have people who are going to admire it, and some people are not going to admire it, and some people are going to write negative about it.
Exactly. Yes. Some people would always be some, it's always 60-40%, I believe. That 60% will be positive, and those, if you get that 60% positive reviews, you are kind of settled. I'm
Yeah,
content
yeah.
when it comes to my books. So, where do you see future? Are you going to plan more projects like this, like quiz books or
Yeah,
some
sure, sure,
education?
sure. My aim is to write a series of quiz book, and my all my quiz books are going to be India centric, because I
Okay.
believe that the kids should know more about India
Oh,
first, and then they can know more about the world.
yes, yes. That's really interesting, because even the shows, my kids watch many shows, but they are so much about US. They know that if you want to call police, you have to dial 911, but they don't know that they should.
Know that in India you have to dial 100.
The shows are so much, but many shows are from US. You watch YouTube,
Yeah,
you
sure.
watch Netflix. So that's what we want. We want something from India. Even I sometimes think that what do I do that they know more about India? So I think if even when you publish your next book, please tell me. I'm gonna buy that volume as
Yeah,
well.
sure, 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 sure.
So can you share about your background? What led you to become a pediatrician? I mean, if you look to
See,
your personal
I
life.
come from my mother was a gynecologist,
Oh.
and my
Hmm.
father is a mining engineer. And unfortunately, my mother passed away 4 years back. She was one of the most renowned gynecologists of the town,
Hmm.
and I wanted to become a doctor.
Hmm.
And never in my dreams I thought that I would get admission into the Armed Forces Medical College.
Hmm.
And my it was sheer good luck. I say that I got admission into AFMC, and I used to quiz at school level. See, during in the early 90s, there were hardly any quizzes. There was
Yeah.
hardly any quizzing circuit as such. So
Hmm.
whatever limited time, whatever limited opportunities I got, I used to utilize them, and I used to take part in all this inter-school quiz competitions. But when
Yeah.
I went to AFMC had a very good quizzing society, and Pune itself has a very good quizzing circuit. So in that college, I used to, during my college time in AFMC, I used to attend all festivals. I remember attending the cultural festival at Ferguson College, at Symbiosis, and there was a festival by Indian Express called Verve during
Hmm.
in the early late 90s and early 2000s. And I used to win. I won those quiz competitions, and then slowly my hobby became my passion, and now it turned out into I wrote books. As
Yeah.
far as pediatrics is concerned, it is my bread and butter, and I enjoy my profession. I'm a professor at a medical college, so I
Hmm.
see patients. I always teach young students also.
Hmm.
um, so I say life has been quite good.
Yeah. So being a doctor and a profession, it's like a demanding job, and especially with kids. I have two kids, and I know what they are, that when they are not well, they become so whiny. And you actually encounter mostly whiny kids, because that's that's when they come to you, when they are not well.
Yeah,
So the question is, how do you stay motivated and inspired to write, especially given your demanding profession?
To write, motivated to write. I should say I've got a very good family support system. My
Hmm.
wife is my biggest critic as well as the biggest supporter,
Mm-hmm.
and she encourages me to write. My daughter, my elder daughter, who's herself an avid quizzer, she will come to me and say, "Papa, let's crack this question. Let's try and crack this question." My
Hmm.
younger daughter also, who designed the cover page of the book.
Mm-hmm.
So my father also encourages me, and I've got a good set of friends also, and family, well wishers, who keep asking me when is the third volume coming, or when is your third book coming. So
Hmm.
when you have such people, you have got such a sound, supportive uh, family system, it
Yeah,
becomes easier.
exactly. So your friends and family, everyone is quite supportive, and that's what
Yeah, yeah, sure.
inspiration.
Yeah,
Yes. So what do you enjoy in your free time when you are not writing or when you are not actually a doctor, a pediatrician, that is?
reading.
Okay.
My TBR list, to be read list, is now I think 13 books. They're all piled up.
You read 13 books a month?
No. 13 books are there on my table, lying to be read.
Okay, it's like your TBR list. Okay.
TBR list. Yeah.
Okay, okay. That's great. That's really great. Mostly avid readers are, they only become authors. That's really nice to know. Anyways, so any message you want to give to our listeners and you?
My only message is that in this era of WhatsApp University PhDs,
Oh
where
my.
everybody is a PhD and has gained knowledge over WhatsApp, I think every house should have a small library where you can have books, and you should encourage kids to read. Kids are kids look happy only at two places, either the library or the playground. That those are the two places where the kids should be, rather than sitting in front of mobile laptops. And rather than increasing their screen time, we should all make an effort that we are able to increase their reading time. That
Right.
is my message.
That's really very inspiring message, and I think everyone should do it. I mean, put an action to it. That's really a nice message. So this brings an end to our session. I really had a good time knowing you. Thanks for this wonderful conversation.
Thank you very much for inviting me over. Thank you. God bless. Thank you.